So there is a new kid on the block, though, apparently, that's giving you a bit of a run for your money. Can you tell us a little bit about who that is?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. It's my brother.
Yeah.
It's my brother. Yeah, so he's only 18.
Yeah.
So a lot younger than me. I think he's one of sort of the youngest ones I've had in the office to actually start. But yeah, no, he's very similar to me. I mean, to give you a little bit of background to my brother, 18 years old, finished school and he had a very one-track mindset like me at the time. All I wanted to do is helicopters. All he wanted to do is be a professional golfer. And I think what he did with golf has really helped him with Hoxton, which we'll come on to. But, you know, he had a very sort of longevity mindset when it came to the golf. You know, he saw what other people were doing and he'd go, okay, well, how can I better myself to sort of, you know, really excel at what I want to do here? He'd finish, as we all know, the early nights in the UK, what we're certainly starting to see at the moment, you know, 4, 5 o'clock, dark nights would come in the middle of the winter. I certainly couldn't do it, but he'd be there on the putting green, have flashlights. Everyone else was at home. He was just there putting all night. And yeah, it paid off. You know, he was absolutely incredible at golf from a very, very young age, but I just don't think he was seeing the progression as of to now where he wanted to get. I got a phone call off him and he says, can I come and move to Dubai with you? And I said, well, hold on. What do you mean here? And he says, well, look, you know, can I do some work experience with you? I find it really interesting what you do. I'm going to play some golf. Could I just come and do a little bit of work experience? So I gave Jacob Hall a call. I said, look, a little bit of a different sort of question I've got for you here now. I said, my brother, who you've met before, when we've all played golf before, is there any chance he could just come and do a little bit of work experience with us? And Jake goes, well, if he's a little bit like you, like in regards to sort of mindset, he said, bring him on full time. And I spoke to Al, I said, look, there could be an option here. And I said, look, take your time, have a think about it. You know, you're young, you're 18. And he went through his interviews, started 3 weeks ago, and he's doing insane. But no, really proud of him. He's doing really well.
That's amazing. So when you say he's doing insane, like, give us some perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean, in regards to sort of, I mean, he's very junior in the role. So, you know, a lot of the role, I think, when you are very junior is prospecting. You know, it's speaking to potential clients, speaking to clients who are in the process of becoming a client. And I think he's just really picked up the role from ground one. I mean, we have been in there late nights till 11 o'clock each night doing training and everything together. But he's just picked up the role. You know, he's really sort of, you know, seeing that progression of, you know, building a sort of, you know, a longevity role of potential clients. You know, we'll probably come on to that later when it comes to sort of, you know, how we speak to our clients. But, you know, he's doing really well of sort of, you know, helping them understand how we can possibly help them from sort of, you know, a very junior ground zero position.
Well, I was at the team meeting last week and I think he booked the most appointments. So obviously big part of the job role is to go through existing clients, to go through the leads that are coming in and all the methods that we have for attracting clients.
Yeah, that's right.
We do exceptionally well through our marketing. We've got really great marketing.
Yeah.
But we need somebody to turn some of those stones over to have those conversations with people. If someone's shown an interest in a 401k transfer into an IRA, we need someone to pick the phone up and actually speak to that person. But he booked the most appointments. Didn't he say, I want to carry on? It was Friday and he was like, I want to carry on because I want to hit this figure. He'd already smashed everybody. You had to literally drag him out there.
Yeah, no, it's right. He goes, right. He says, I said, right, you're done for the day now. So you've had an insane week. Yeah. And he's like, no. He said, I need to do a couple more. I said, Al, we're going to go for food. I said, carry on next week now. But no, and that again goes back to his golf. That's how he was with his golf. And I think that'll really show through with Hoxton as well.
I was doing a bit of work recently about how we identify those traits within people that are coming into that role. And I think it's hugely important. And we all came to the conclusion that people that tend to work hard on something of a passion when they're younger, it transfers beautifully across into a job where it is quite target driven. Yeah. Right? And you have to be motivated and have to have the right mindset and you have to have that strength of mind to realize that you have to overcome challenges every single second of the day and that you don't just give in or you don't sort of lean into that fear-based mindset, that you've got that growth mindset, that need to achieve, not the need to avoid failure. Yeah. I think sport does that really, really, really well. I also think, like, with your experience, like, you had a clear goal, you wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah, no, that was it.
Yeah, you were like probably obsessed about it.
Yeah.
And like for you to actually have done that, if you walked into an interview with me and you told me that this was my goal when I was younger, this is what I wanted to achieve, and I flew around Sydney Harbour, I'd be like, holy shit, like you are 100% the type of person that we want, because you can clearly visualize something and make it happen.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? You visualize things. I do it a lot. Like, you see my recent Hoxton Life documentary I'd done, right, with Michael Yule in France?
Yes, I did see that, yeah.
I visualized that before I even worked for Hoxton.
Right, yeah.
So I knew that I was doing that. I was planning that years ago.
Yeah.
So for me to come in, one, and to be able to make the vision that I had, the thing that I was manifesting a reality, I owe that to the growth mindset environment of Hoxton, right? But just to be able to know that I can deliver on it with a kind of obsessive mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Because I'm trying to convince somebody to spend a load of money on a video and why you should do it. I like that, visualizing something and making it happen. For me, if you visualize it and you fix it becomes a fixed goal in your head, you almost clearly see it. Does it happen to you? You can literally see it play out in your mind in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm big on visualizing things. You know, it's how I learn. When it comes to sort of, you know, any form of study, I'm very, very big on visualizing.
Right.
I mean, I think we spoke about it before. When it comes to sort of targets, again, I like to have that as a visual, this is where I want to get to.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, that comes down to visualizing it. And also as well, you know, Hoxton do very much sort of promote that, I think. You know, I think we've got team leaders meeting next week to sort of, you know, help the guys in regards to visualizing what they want is sort of, you know, their end goals for the year. And that doesn't mean monetary goals, you know, it means sort of, you know, what you want in life, really, you know, what you want for sort of, you know, yourself when it comes to sort of your career prospects. You know, it's not all monetary based, you know, Hoxton's certainly not about that. It's about sort of helping you get where you really want to be. And, you know, again, that comes down to visualizing it, writing it down, saying, okay, how we're going to get there, breaking it down. And I couldn't agree more.